Hello guys, this is Greg again, tutorial 2. I'm going to be going over breakpoints today. This can be a very useful tool, breakpoints, with especially with Visual Studio. Other ones like clips, and I believe Xcode for iPhone applications also have breakpoints. If you're not used to programming or any kind of object-oriented programming, you're probably not going to be used to breakpoints, where like ASP Classic didn't use it, or PHP, HTML, none of those things have anything called breakpoints. What breakpoints basically do is allow you to, when you're running your code and you compile it and build it, it allows you to run the application, and while running it, have the application stop at certain points where you place the quote-unquote breakpoints to stop the code, analyze it, and then continue on. I'm going to start my first YouTube here. Application that we've already done in the previous tutorial. Now you'll notice that you can only do breakpoints within the actual code behind. And that's a term you're going to want to get used to, is code behind. Code behind is any C# or Visual Basic code that it gets compiled with your XAML code to run together to make your application. So you're going to notice when you go to the CS file, you'll notice that if you left click at a certain point within your code, you can choose, you will get a little red dot, and if there's any actual data other than an actual method, you'll notice that it will highlight in red so that you know that that's the code that you are putting the breakpoint on. If you left click it again on a specific breakpoint, you'll notice that it clears. That's the easiest way to make a breakpoint. I'm going to make a couple breakpoints here. Let's breakpoint here, and actually I'll undo there. Usually if you make sure that it's at the bracket, then you know that you're already inside that method, and I'll show you why in a second. So what I'm going to do is hit F5 as the shortcut key to debug. You can also click the little green button here, and you'll notice that the tooltip says start debugging, and in parentheses says F5. That's your shortcut command, so I'm going to hit F5. And you're going to notice IE come up, and then it's going to quickly go away. Just give it 1 second here. Okay, great. So you saw Internet Explorer come up and it disappeared, and now you have where the first breakpoint is in yellow. Okay, and now you're going to notice that while I'm highlighting over this, you're going to notice that the input text box .text is equal to double quote, which means there's nothing inside of it yet. That is because the breakpoint is where you stop before that point where the breakpoint occurs. So this initialized component, the constructor has run, you've instantiated the user control, but you haven't set hello everyone on gray to input textbox.text, you'll notice. Okay, now if you notice down here, there is a nice little feature called the watch. Okay, it's kind of like a watchdog type of thing. If you click on it, okay, it's a tab. You got your error list and your watch list. Okay, you can actually highlight your the command you're looking for, left click and hold, and you'll notice that it's that now you have the little X or cross with a circle. It means that you can't drag and drop it there. But if you bring it over to the watch, you'll notice now you have your little plus and draggable feature that all Windows applications have, and you let go. So you'll notice that at this point, input textbox.text has a value of nothing, and it's of type string. Okay, and we can do this. You'll notice you can do this with a lot of things, and you can actually even type if you were to an input text box. Okay, and you'll notice if I do a dot. Actually it didn't. Because I misspelled input. Input text box. You're going to notice when I hit a dot, Even here the IntelliSense works, okay? So you can actually see whether things are set. Like if you scroll up here, accept return, you'll notice these little tooltips are great. You see it's a boolean, so you'll either set equal to true or false. So if you click on that, you're going to know that as soon as that actually gets set, it'll tell you whether it's true or false. Okay, so I just clicked on it, double click to make sure. You can also hit enter. So now the value of that is set to false at this point. Okay, as we go on, I'll show you how you set these values. Accept return means a text box or a text field by default does not allow you to type text and then hit enter. So if you were to type some text and then hit enter, it would assume that you were done and try to submit the page. Whereas if you make accept return equal to true, then you can hit enter and continue to hit enter and finish out what you're doing. We'll show that in a different tutorial, but I think you probably get the hang of what I'm talking about here. So now you have two options. You can either hit F10 or F5, and with those options you have either the continue button over here, or I believe right here, show next statement. No, step into, I'm sorry. Step into, step over. Okay, so you have a couple options, not just two. I don't usually use step into, I usually do step over. You can use step into, it just allows you to step into the command you're doing. So when we do that, we hit F11. So it actually set this now, okay, and it went on to the next section, the next spot, which is just the closed bracket. But if you look down here, you'll notice in red, input text box.text is now set to hello everyone, I'm great. Okay, now you'll also notice that this has not been set to this yet. Okay, now if we hit F5, we're going to notice that it's going to be done, and it's going to finish the application here. Give it a second. It'll figure itself out here. Let's see. Why is that not doing what it's supposed to be doing here? I've noticed that there are still quite a few bugs with Visual Studio 2010, even the Ultimate Edition. So if at first you don't succeed, do try again. So let's hit F5 again here. Okay, there you go. So you'll notice that it's been set to hello everyone, I'm great. And you'll notice that it never hits this. If you've done any programming, you're going to know why. The reason why is because you haven't hit that method yet. You're not going to hit that method until the button is clicked, and then it will search for this method, and then it will actually stop here. Now you'll also notice that when you're done in the quote-unquote debugging, where it's finished its process up until the point where it needs another breakpoint or it needs user interaction, your watch is going to go blank, and it actually will not always show what's in there if you don't have a breakpoint already done. So what you'll probably want to do a lot of times is put a breakpoint at the point you want it to go and right after. So what will happen now, if I stop the debugging process at F5 again, you're going to notice that now I have this, okay, and it's set to nothing. If I hit F5, now it's going to go to the next breakpoint, which happens to be at the end of that method, the actually constructor, and you'll notice that hello everyone, I'm great is now set. So let's hit F5 again, and now it's going to go back to here. So now as soon as I hit this button, it's going to trigger this event, okay? And by the way, this is actually really an event. It's not really just a plain old method, because you're actually calling a method, alright, or an event at this point, a routed event arg to be exact. And as soon as you hit the button, you're going to notice that it's going to hit that bracket, which it just did. Okay? So now if we hit F5 again, we're going to get to here, and you can put breakpoints in on the fly while you're debugging. You can't type, you'll get an error. Watch, if you type, it's going to beep at you and say changes are not allowed when debugging. But you can put as many breakpoints as you want. So if I hit F5 now you notice that the input box has changed. And if we hit F5 again, you're going to notice that now, hello everyone, I'm awesome like Spose. Okay? So that concludes breakpoints, or at least the introduction to it. You'll notice along the way if things aren't working as expected, you'll notice that breakpoints will be a very good tool for you, and you'll notice that I do them as well because I'm kind of trying to do these on the fly, so I'm not really testing them too much ahead of time, mainly because I want you to get the feel of not only Silverlight but programming in general and how things just never work exactly the way they're supposed to the first time around. So breakpoints are great for that kind of testing. And if I hit F5 here again, you'll notice now everything's going to just go hunky-dory. Do that. And hello everyone, I'm awesome like Expose. Alright, so that's about it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you follow me on my other tutorials. Thank you very much.